Yeah. So whatever you
Good. All right, welcome back to the Roll Troll 2 Experience Radio Show live here at Philly Out Radio on Facebook Live and the Roman Troll 2 Experience Radio Facebook page. Also, I'm going to have my next guest here, Miss Monika. I said right, Monika.
Yes.
Monika Willis. How are you today?
I am fantastic.
Yeah, good.
This new thing that just came to my mind. You know, a lot of times we just automatically respond when somebody say, how we doing? And so I realized that we'll just say, fine, I'm good, or blessed, or whatever it is. But I realized that I'm in a space where somebody asks me how I'm doing, my response is, I'm fruitful. Because I realized, like, in all the capacity of the things that we go through, and you still bearing fruit, because we bear fruit in each season. It's just that the fruit is different in each season. So I just want to say, you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to say fruitful.
I like that. And that I always thought that because I think that it goes back to like mental health and like never know what people are dealing with and what they feeling, because that one question can help save someone's life or it change their whole mood for the whole day, that you took time out of that day to ask someone how they doing or how they feeling.
Yes.
You know, and that it sounds little, but it means a whole lot to people. Just you never know who you impacted that much. That means you care. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So let's get started. So,
Sure.
Who is Monika Willis?
I'm a child of God. I'm a woman of God. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a minister. I'm a hairstylist. I'm a business owner. I'm a mentor. I'm a life coach. I'm a published author. But more importantly, I seek God, the will of God, consistently, no matter what it look like, feel like, seem like, or sound like. Because those are titles. You know, those are things I do. That's not who I am.
Right.
And so to summarize who I am, I'm a worshiper. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a purpose seeker. I'm a purpose pusher. So yes, sir.
You're right on the head of me. Like I'm kind of the same way. I have a lot of titles too. I'm like a worshiper. I'm like servant of God. I'm a child of God. Yeah. That first way, I'm a servant of God. You know what I mean? Like that, because we gotta do things what God tells us to do, even if it's uncomfortable. Because Jesus did things that was uncomfortable to everybody else.
Come on.
Yeah. So and like we just want to be uncomfortable. So I tell people now, you can't live life being comfortable. You gotta be uncomfortable because in order to be great and be successful, you gotta think outside the box. You gotta even doing things that God tells you to do is uncomfortable. I'm like, I ain't trying to do this, but once you do it, you find out why He wants you to do it. And so
that's so true.
Yeah. So and that's why I do this show, because I've been through a lot my childhood. I had speech problems growing up. I never thought I'd be up and doing a radio show. Never. Like, but God told you use your voice, because you never know. Someone got to be watching your show, listening to your show, that this guy can do it. Then I can do it. You know. So and you talk about purpose and that, because I did a course. I did a course on purpose. You know, I finished a course on like 3 Tuesdays in the past 3 weeks, and really fulfilled me. I know my purpose already, but it kind of modified it more, and added more to my purpose, because I'm trying to like turn our youth to do what God called to do now. A lot of our youth are bound; they need to be free, and by things unbeknownst to them. You know what I mean? That wasn't their fault. You know, so they were forced into or being directed to do. You know, based on what parents have told them to do. So I'm trying to get them to be uncomfortable now, and they're ready to set themselves now. While I ain't setting myself until I was about my 30s. I did a lot of things. I was happy, but I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't like really something who I really was. I was trying to change myself for people, and I hurt myself. And I always go by this theory that now I'm going to pass early this year, please God, not people. And a lot of times I treat people, we are hurt, burdened, depressed, stressed out, sad, all over. But we please God, there's healing, there's joy, there's completeness, and there's fullness and fruitfulness. Like you're talking about being fruitful and multiply in the right way. You know, and, you know. So I'm sorry again. I'm talking about
it's okay.
So what was your upbringing like?
I was raised by a single parent, which was my mom. And it was just me and her. I'm the only child. I'm her only child. And it was different. It was different being a only child, because like my mom was constantly working, so I had to learn to be okay with being by myself. And a lot of times I was a latchkey kid, and so I let myself in the house, and a lot of times I had to prepare my own meals and all of those types of things. And my mom was a single parent, and that's just what it was. My dad wasn't around. He was in the military, but he was still absent even in the times that he could have been there. It's just what the relationship is. It's different now, but in the sense of my childhood, he wasn't there.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was one of those things that you kind of, it's something you always yearn for in regards to your relationship. I've learned that I think that it's very pertinent for a young lady to have her dad more so than her mom in the aspect of knowing what type of man they want or don't want. A lot of times I don't think that we understand that, or a father may get that, but because there's certain things that your dad will set the precedent for in your life if you had them, and so as a female you would have something to glean from in the capacity of what you would want in a significant other, or what you want or don't want as well. So it was one of those things, but I bless God for the relationship that is today, with my dad. But yeah, when I was younger, I was always very, very quiet. I ain't have a lot to say. I ain't do too much. I played sports. I played activities. I was double dutch, marching band, dance groups. I did those things, but I was still a quiet person. So that was kind of the basis of my life. I was very watchful. Like when I think about my childhood, it's something that I saw more so than lived, because I literally can really live in the moments of seeing the things that transpired more so than having to say I experienced it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Wow, you did a lot, kind of like me. I was a single parent, only child too. So I had it was a lot I dealt with. I was involved in sports. I was in so many clubs, and it took me me and my mom being uncomfortable at 5th grade and going to a mostly Caucasian school. I had to graduate from a mostly black and Latino school growing up. Going to somewhere uncomfortable was something that set my life really to be where it's today, because if I had that middle school experience, even though it was get better and good, I would not be here right now, because it was just be uncomfortable, and I didn't know. By this time, I didn't know God at all. Okay. So my grandma was always in church. My mom never took me to church at that time. So I started going to church myself when I was 19, 20. Okay. So it was just those little things, be uncomfortable while you're 11 years old. Didn't know why you did it, but you can look back wow, this makes sense. So now we talk about, our theme is One with Trollers 2, experience show, being conformed and not being transformed in your mind, things like that, being able to test God who real is. So being transformed by God and doing things for God. So what was your Roman 12 2 moment for you?
My Roman 12 2 moment actually happened the day after I had a birthday party. I had this big birthday party. At this point, I was living like every other person, where I smoked, drank, party, had sex, smoked weed, did drugs, the whole facet of just I partied. At that point, though, one of the things that was consistent was the fact that I actually always had ambition in regards to my career. I was very goal-orientated and driven. So success was always an anomaly in my life. But what happened is that on the other side of it, I was raised in a place of seeing people do drugs and party and the whole facet. So it becomes normal. Because in my household, we didn't go to church. We watched black and white movies on Sundays and ate breakfast. That was what we did on Sundays. And so it was one of those things that church wasn't even a thought. But I had already had my own experience with God when I was in the 10th grade. I was like, well, God, if you're real, then make the TV do X, Y, Z. And the TV did it. So I was like, oh, snap, you real. It was funny, right? And I was like, oh my God, he real. So that was my first experience with God. And then over time, when I was in the streets and hanging out, I have a cousin, her name, shout out to April Sims. April lived in a neighborhood called Robinwood in Maryland. and I would go like hang in the street. I would smoke weed, drink, all that, but I would go to her house. And she was one of them, I call them the Jesus people. Now I'm a Jesus people, right? But she was one of them Jesus people where it was like, you know, come in so I can pray with you. The blood of Jesus. I mean, that's just as much like, oh, here she go. But I would go in there, and I'm just being honest, like, so I would go in there and she would pray. And then sometimes I started going so we could pray, even though I was going back outside and partying, because I knew that God was real and I wanted God. But how do you get God when you don't know how to get God? Because you don't even know what to do or not to do, especially when you have this space of religion telling you you can't serve God and smoke weed. You can't serve God and have sex. You can't serve God and still be in the world, so to speak. And so you actually shy away from it because you literally in your mind you feel as though the only way that I can serve God is if I'm ready. And so you get that a lot. People are like, oh, I ain't ready for all of that. So you don't think that you can come to him broken. You don't think that you can come to him ashamed. You feel like you have to be perfect in order to do so because that's what religion has taught us. And so I would go there, you know what I'm saying? And I would actually, like, she would pray with me. And it took time to where that was a seed. She gave me a Bible. I remember when I went to school to be an electrician, I read Revelations for the first time. I cried. And I was like, God, I don't want to be here during that time frame. Like, I don't want to be here. But what was the amazing part is I wanted to make sure that I talked about the seed that was planted in my life before I talk about the manifestation. And so that's actually where it all started and it all came from. And so as time went by, I had this big birthday party. I think I was turning maybe 29 or 30 or something like that. And I had this really big party and had a limo and this big spot. I mean, all of the trimmings. It was the one. I even had my own drink. It was called the Money Team, right? But like all the stuff, right? It was amazing. Had a great time. I woke up the next day. I had Moet in my refrigerator, some champagne glasses, and I woke up and I'm like, it gotta be more to life than this. Like literally, as I'm cleaning up my house, it has to be more to life than smoking, drinking, having sex, and then do it again next weekend. It had to be. And so I started to seek after it in my mind first. Because being transformed by the renewing of that mind, anything that we do, it starts in the mind. The shirt that we wear, somebody thought of it in their mind before it became reality. The chair that we're sitting in, it started in the mind. So we do have to understand that scripture, to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, it actually was a thought. It was something that I said, you know, it gotta be more to life than this. And because of that conversation with myself, God put me in a position where I started to seek God in regards to going to church. And I met this young lady that she actually, her name is Kia Pratt. She was a part of Medina Pullins Ministries. I met her off the whim one day. It was one of the most amazingest things because I just went to visit someone and she was there. And she was like, she lived in Virginia, and she was like, well, I just wanted to come to Maryland today. Like, I felt led to come, and I've been sitting here all day asking God, why am I here? And then you showed up.
Wow.
So those are the things that was attached to my Romans 12:2 experience in regards to what made me, what was the foundation. It was I was tired.
Yeah.
I mean, how many blunts can you smoke and drinks can you drink till you realize that you won't be fulfilled? It's fun, but it's not fulfilling. There's two different things. Because no matter how many drinks I drank, how much smoke I smoked, whatever the case, when I went home, I still felt empty. No matter how high I was and how long it lasted, when I went home, I still felt empty. Do you understand? So no matter how much sex I had and how great it was, there was still something missing.
Right, exactly.
So I realized that because we were created by God to that degree that we are made in his image, the thing that we desire is him.
That's right.
But we don't know that it's him until we realize that he yearns for us to be connected to him because he created us. And that's why there's a longing to find something outside of ourselves, and we look for everything else, not realizing that what we're seeking is God.
It's right there. It's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
You say you grew up in Maryland? Wait, you say you grew up in Maryland?
Maryland. Mm-hmm.
Where in Maryland? Where?
I'm from Annapolis, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. The capital of
the Naval
Yep,
Academy.
yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So how far is it from Baltimore?
About 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have family down in Maryland. That's right.
Okay.
My mentees go to school at Morgan State. I think in Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Morgan State. I'm bad.
It's Morgan State.
Yeah, so she's gonna be a senior.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
Yeah, so in the fall. Yeah, so now you're doing the life coach, public speaking, the offer thing last. I'm gonna go to that last. But what made you decide to be a life coach and motivated speaker?
I didn't decide it. One of those things that it just happened. I honestly just love to motivate people and encourage people, because I remember, if I think about it like this, if I had somebody that motivated and encouraged me, I could have been a lot more further, a little bit faster. And so I just want to be the change that I want to see. And so what I've done is I can see potential a mile away, and then I want to stop and talk to you like, what's going on? You know, so maybe possibly I could say something that can ignite the fire within you to actually pursue your purpose, because every person in this world has a purpose.
That's right.
God created us for a purpose.
That's
but
right.
What happens though, the correlation when you say God and purpose, people think that when you say God and purpose, they think that it's church. And it has nothing to do with church.
Nothing.
But it has everything in regards to why God created you.
Right.
And so a lot of times you got that correlation. So it's like, no, I ain't called to be no minister. Nobody said a minister. You understand? Nobody said that you had to be in the pulpit preaching. It has nothing to do with that. But the fact that every person on this earth has a purpose. Some of us are born to be great mothers. Some of us are born to be great fathers. Some of us are born to be great entrepreneurs. Some of us are called to be great servants. But your purpose, in which that thing that you love to do, that every time you do it, you feel good, even if you don't get paid for it, that's called purpose. I've always said that if you chase purpose, money get jealous and chase you. Because a lot of times we're chasing the bag, and then we're tired and we're exhausted because we're doing things for the money. But when you do it because you love it, you automatically get the money. And I'm saying it because I've lived it. I used to wear the book bag on my back so I could make money. And then when I started chasing purpose, where I realized I'm Mo the praying stylist, I'm Mo the traveling stylist, and I started to own it, where I was praying with my clients, I would give a word to my clients, the Holy Ghost would rush into the salon, and we would have a great time and prophesy, lay hands. I mean, the whole nine, like it was a church. My salon stayed flooded. I serviced 30 to 45 people in 3 days because I only worked 3 days a week. And so the amazing thing is because I lived in the fact that I chased my purpose. I never even cared about how much money I made. Now, it was good to make them 6 figures, but I'm just being real. But at the same time, I was so excited to serve God and His people that the money just came like water. Because, like, to make 6 figures, only working 12 to 15 days a month, like that's really unheard of. But it was something that was happening. So wow.
Yeah. You talking about that purpose, man? That's with me. The starting path to greatness, because like I didn't know why I was doing it, and it came about accident. It wasn't planned. I wasn't paid. I had nobody to do it with me. So you talk businesses, like you start with someone. You get a team together. You know what I mean? So what I did first, I was like, God told me to do it. Just do it. And another video I watched was Ray Lewis with Baltimore. He was talking about being pissed off with greatness, and that stuck with me. I was like, that really makes sense about you wasn't born here to be mediocre or be basic. You was born to be great. Right. So I was like, had greatness. Didn't know where it was going. You know, I had no 5-year vision plan on it. I was like, get speed, talk to the kids. Had to be unapologetic. That's our master, to be unapologetic. Then we did it on Friday. It was a rain cold Friday, middle school. They had no recess. So it's like, all right. Then realize at field 9 have the kids stay. They didn't go home. Then you find out that Monday, they were like, close the phone, we ain't coming back. The school turned their 180 in terms of attitude and motivation.
Awesome.
So now I've been doing 7+ years. Now so I'm pretty much, we had a team, but now I'm starting to get a team now because I'm in their phase of my life now. So I'm trying to get people to transform, not conform. It's starting with 5th graders.
That's
Because
good. I like that.
not conform because our young people are conformed to what they see and what they do. And now we get them to do what their purpose is, find out why they now at 17, before they go to graduate high school, what your purpose is. Because a lot of times our kids are being forced to go to college. But they're not ready, it's not their calling because they want to please their mom and dad, their friends, or get that free scholarship or get that free money, but you're not being miserable. So you're not being miserable and you're not dropping out, then you got to figure out what I'm going to do now.
Right.
And you trusting God back then, you'll know what you be doing and being in the school that God calls you to be at. So I'm just a person, I thank God for you because that was like, we just said about purpose. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. During this pandemic, I've been seeking God more. I've been praying more. I've been reading my word more.
That was the purpose of the pandemic.
To shut us down. Because a lot of times I've been chasing money and doing all this stuff that God didn't tell you to do. Like, you know what I mean? You end up being miserable, being stuck. I mean, and this is a time for you to find out who you really are and take everything that you love, that you like working for people and something down to work with you. Isolate you from God to be who you really are. And then when you come out of this pandemic, where that it is, you'll be a bad person.
Yeah.
And then you find out who your friends are. You find out who's really there for you in those times of when it's good or when it's bad. And plus, it makes you be uncomfortable because you got to do a lot of things on virtual. A lot of people are in people per people, you know what I mean? Do things on Zoom or go and hang out. That's uncomfortable, but at least we got to do things uncomfortably. So you said your offer. So I do Office Cafes. I want to know, what's your book about, your book?
I'm a published author in a collaboration. It was a collaborative effort. It was like 40, 50 other women. The book is called Moments in Her Story, which I think is funny because my name of my business is Moments with Mo. But I actually shared a short story in a poetry form, and then I shared the first poem that I ever wrote. And so I wrote the poem because I sing, right? So my cousin was like, take me in the studio. And he was like, do you write? If you don't write your own stuff, I ain't taking. I'm like, I write. He was like, let me see. I'm like, hold on. So I wrote something. But I didn't realize, and I wrote it, and it actually sounded good. But instead of it being a song, it's really a poem. So I put that in the book. And then right now, I'm working on something. I guess I can say what it is. It's called Seasons of Inspiration. And what it is that it's a collaboration of my poetry and my experiences and revelation that I've gotten. And it's in poetry form.
Wow.
And so I love the book cover. It's so beautiful. I wanted a book that if you saw it, you would stop and look at it at least and pick it up.
And read it.
So it's very eye-catching. And so I'm really excited about that. That'll be out. I'm pushing for that to be one of my birthday presents to myself. So in October, I'm pushing for it to be done.
What's your birthday in October? What day is your birthday?
October 1st.
Oh, I'm October 21st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I always like that. I do Office Cafe. I bring offers in that we talk about. I'm a big opponent of literacy and supporting black businesses and reading the books about black people who like me and you. So I do Office Cafe. So my last one for the year will be November. Okay. So I hope you.
Yes, it would be great.
Yeah, so we do it. Done. So it's done at Black Business at we call it Cafe in July Avenue. The owner is black. She's also a principal. So it's like I support being black. You know what I mean? But but because we support one another. And now my books I have in my collection are by black authors.
Yeah.
The last like five years I've collected books by black authors. Also on Kindle as well. I'll be allowed. Because reading is fundamental. I think in order to grow, you learn a lot from people and take a lot of notes as well. So what is Moments with Mo? What is that about?
Moments with Mo is actually all that encompasses what God has blessed me with the abilities to do. I don't take it lightly. I thank God that I went from a child that never talks to a child that He uses to speak. So I'm grateful for that, and I just felt in my spirit to share. There's somebody on this live that you don't understand why your child don't talk. It's because they listen and they're observing, and when there's appropriated time for them to speak, they will. Coming from a child, I didn't speak, I didn't talk, I didn't say too much. I was defensive, I didn't care, and then God actually allowed me to see that it was because I was receiving information because I wanted to understand, and then now you can't even stop me from talking. And so I just wanted to share that. But Moments with Mo is like it's exactly that. I'm a hairstylist, and so there's at any given moment I could be doing your hair, and God will give me a download, and I share it with you. You could come in broken, and I'm gonna make sure that you feel restored by the time you leave. It could be a moment of prayer. It could be a moment of reflection. It could be a moment where you're sitting in a place where you feel as though your situation is so bad, but God will give me a way to give you your same story that and make you see it differently. That's why He gave me the name. I'm a motivational thought leader. Not that I'm trying to change how you think, but I want to change how you see it. Because a lot of times we sit in places of depression and darkness because we're choosing to, because of our view of our situation. Your current situation is not your final destination. This actually is a season where you need to see what it is that you can get in it and get out of it. Because there's always a purging. There's always a process. And so the process never ends. It's always continuous. And so we have to learn and know that where we are, this is not the end. And I'm saying that out of a place where I really felt like it was the end for me, because there were so many things that God had taken away. And because the same God that gave me all of this stuff, that I was living this great life with, the same God that came and took it. And so I realized that it was to get me to a different place in Him. See, God will reveal Himself in one place, but to get you to another place, He got to get your attention. And He probably been trying, but you ain't listening.
Ooh, yeah.
And so what He'll do is He'll touch the thing that makes you look.
And listen.
And listen. And so definitely, like, that Moments with Mo is that. Like, we're having a moment with Mo right now. We're having a moment with Mo right now. Somebody on the street, I just met the guy that owned the building. That was a moment with Mo. I don't take it lightly because I look for an opportunity to be able to uplift, encourage, empower, or connect. It don't always connect because everybody ain't for you. And
Sure.
so I know that and understand that. So I'm really okay with what is and what isn't. There's a lot of times in my life I try to make things work. But my favorite scripture is Romans 8:28. But all things work together for your good. For them that love the Lord and according to His purpose. Let's say the whole thing.
Right.
You understand? Because we said all things work together for your good, but we forgot there's a column that said, for those that love the Lord and. So you need to be both.
True.
That you love the Lord and called according to His purpose. And what's the purpose of God? His will. And what is His will? It's His word. Amen. So definitely those are moments with Mo. Like any type of interaction in general, I'm looking for a moment to be able to say something that can help you. That's just who I am.
That was my favorite moment. My favorite one's too 8:28 too. That's my favorite.
That's my
one.
favorite scripture.
Okay, so we're in the same category. Yeah. So where people can find you, in terms of knowing more about you, Moments with Mo,
Sure.
Also get your book that you talked about.
Yes. So definitely, you can actually, I have a website, it's called momentswithmo.org, momentswithmo.org, just how it sounds, that's how it's spelled. You can follow me on Instagram, moments_with_Mo. On Facebook, it's Moments with Mo and Monika Willis. My personal page is Monika Willis, that's MONIKA WILLIS. And that's actually, Monika Willis is actually the page that I actually share encouraging words, messages, and statuses. That's what I use that for. But my business page is Moments with Mo. You'll see some hairstyles and things like that. and that I share, but I'm really mainly on Facebook on my personal page.
Gotcha.
But as far as my website, I actually just came out with I launched my own product line. I'm really excited about it. Yes, thank you. Because I'm a hair wellness specialist, I specialize in healthy hair restoration. I think that it's beautiful to do beautiful styles, but if you can't make the hair grow, are you really a hairstylist? Are you really a cosmetologist? Because anybody could slay some hair. But what about the molecular structure of the hair strand? What about why it's thinning? What about what can I use to make my scalp stop itching? Like, there's a lot of things in regards to the industry. Anybody can make it pretty, but can they make it grow? And so that's what I do. And so I have a product called Accelerator 1.0. It's selling like crazy. I actually had, on my page, you can go look, I have a lady that been using it for less than 10 days. And she sent me a picture, and the top of her head is like completely like covered. It's amazing because the product worked. Like, it really worked. So when I saw the fact that that lady had that type of results so quickly, man, that thing went through the roof. My shampoo and conditioner sold out. But everything will be back in stock in July, in the middle of July.
Okay.
Because of the corona, everything that's happening, it's actually slowed down shipping and being able to get everything that you need. But yeah, that's how everybody can get in contact with me. You can book me for any motivational moment, speaking engagement. I do outside, I do community events, I'll MC at church events, whatever it is where I can bring some love, some energy, some peace, some excitement, and give you a great word. And like, I call myself a gospel gangster, so we gonna have a good time too. I'm from the streets, you understand what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know, I had to get that in there. But like, honestly, because what I've learned is, for the last 10 years of my life, everything's been work, church, home, and take care of my mom. My mom has had cancer for 7 years. And so I'm her only child, so I had to take care of her. And so, God rest her soul, she passed away September the 15th. I miss my mother with everything in me. But what I gleaned from LaVon is the fact that when I realized how powerful my mother was, the strength that my mother carried, to have stage 4 cancer for 5 years, the probability is slim to none. My mother never looked like she had cancer until the last 3 months of her life, like literally. And then I just think about that she created me. And so it allowed me to just, the freedom to move forward. And so this season of my life, I'm excited to live. I'm excited that I don't have to live in this box of this thing, that because I realized that a lot of the things that I was doing was because the pastor said so. Not because the Bible said it, because the pastor said it. And so I'm learning the balance of being able to be fruitful and enjoy my life in the kingdom. Because everything was so serious. You know, you got to sit like this, do like this, don't go like that, cross your leg, don't cross your leg, cross your ankles, put the leg skirt on, just dress need be at your ankle, don't wear them jeans, because then everybody gonna look at you, but don't bend over, don't do like this, you can't sit up in front, she can't sit right there, you need to make sure, hello? And so, like, I realized, like, let God speak to me in regards to what I should and shouldn't do. Not saying that it's condoning any type of thing, because trust me, I don't live any kind of way, but on the other side of it, I'm learning balance. So I'm excited to just live in this season.
Wow.
And I'm enjoying my days and my nights and my moments. Like in this moment, I'm enjoying it. Like, it was great to drive to Philly to do a radio interview. You know, last night, one of my clients' birthday, I went to see her and got to see a lot of people I hadn't seen before. I'm just enjoying my life. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow, you're inspiring me. That's your testimony about that, about keeping it going, you know. And you know, you talk about your mom. My grandma passed away. She kind of molded me go next level. She passed away about 14 years ago, Memorial Day weekend. I was with my church actually in South Carolina, and she passed away that Sunday. I didn't find out until I got home that Monday. And we had her memorial service that Friday. So, like, she died Sunday. Her service was that Friday. So, like, quick turnaround. And the service was like 3.5 hours long because of the impact my grandma made. And mind you, I knew my grandma, but I didn't know she was so many things. Like, the mayor at the time came to honor her. He came to, so that turned my life around because I was like, look, I got to be more serious about God. You know, I was serious at that time, but I wasn't really.
It's levels to it.
It was different levels,
It seems like it's never enough.
Right.
In some essence, and only because God always requires more.
Right.
You can never be the same person in this season that you were in the last.
Exactly, because
so you evolve. So He's always looking for you to get closer and for us to evolve.
Right. And I think this pandemic has got me to be more comfortable.
Yes.
I never thought I would take a course or speaking course, spend so much money on it, but it was worth it, you know. Yes. And now I'm going to do this other course now, like about speaking more because it's worth it. He asked me, James, I'm like, no, I ain't doing this, but we gotta tell you to do something. You gotta do it. You gotta put yourself out there. You gotta invest in yourself, you know. Mm-hmm. But Monika, thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We gotta get you back on. We gotta get you back on at some point. I know maybe after your book coming out. Yeah, because and plus, we get you to speak to my kids as well because all y'all ladies need you.
I work with an avid teacher in a Necklace High School. And I loved it because I remember when he asked me to come, I went there and I was like, well, I don't want you to just introduce me because that's conventional, right? When you got a guest speaker and all of that. But what ended up happening is I said, no, I want to come and act like I'm looking for my daughter. So I literally get to the classroom and I bang on the door like, is Keisha in here? And they was like, oh my God, she crazy. So I'm like, my daughter not in here. You mean tell me I signed for her to be in this avid class and she not in here taking advantage of this? They like, who was Keisha? And I'm like, that don't make no sense. And I started to.
Oh, I like that.
It was so good.
I like that.
Like, till this day, they still like, where that lady at? Like, and then it was like, did you find your daughter? I'm like, baby, I don't have a daughter. I like the kind of kids you can take back, but what you love? So, but yes, like, so I love the youth.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So whatever, it doesn't matter, even if they 60, 70, 80, or they 8 and 10. I'm just with in any kind of way that I can share, make an impact. I'm with it.
All right, so Monika, thank you so much for our show. Oh yeah, safe trip back. You know, make sure you have a great rest of your week because we're going to connect. We're going to connect because for those who are watching, thank you so much for supporting her. You know, it's gonna be inspiring me and very something that I needed. You know, you never know, like you never know what God's doing until He does it. You know, just reach out and do it. You know, but. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, Monika. We're going to talk afterwards. But for those watching, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Please stay safe out here. Stay cool. It's warm out here. Just be safe. Have a blessed Saturday.
Love you guys. Thank